Welcome to the Pandemonium Witches podcast, where the ADHD has just a touch of the tism, where the true crime is just as scary as the hauntings and unsolved cases, and the hosts never stay on topic for long. I'm Kat.
I'm Rachel.
We are the Pandemonium. Oh, good morning.
Nothing that's open.
Are you good?
Me?
Meg.
I can't hear anyone.
Oh no! I can't hear you. Maybe you're putting in headphones? Can you hear us now? No? Oh, okay. Well.
Try again. Yay!
I hear people now.
Yay!
It's always something.
Listen, it wouldn't be a Pandemonium podcast if it wasn't something with the audio.
No, it would just be pandas.
Yes, this is correct.
This is very true.
Yes.
How is everybody?
Good. How are you?
I showered and got dressed for a call that never happened.
Oh no. Well, at least you're prepared for the day now.
And usually we're not on camera for it anyways, but like it's one of those, like, it's a big client. I do my best.
Right.
And like I worked out, I showered, and like after 26 minutes of waiting, I was like, I think I'm done here.
They're obviously not coming.
Right? He was like, I'm in traffic with no service. And I was like, okay. And so like I emailed him back and I was like, not a problem. Here's the other stuff. Let me know if you just want to do it by email. Nothing. Radio silence.
All right.
So
then.
we hope he's okay. I did email my boss or message my boss, and I was like, guy, I showered. I was like, I shower for this call every week. Sometimes I even wash my hair. She laughed at me.
It's a big deal when you wash your hair. Come on now.
Right? I don't even have that much of it, so I can't imagine people who have like actual hair.
Oh, my microphone's all the way over here. Let me just...
Oh, hi. You're so much closer to my experience now.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
So one of my guy friends messaged me the other day, and I think it was like maybe a month ago, and he's like, is washing your hair a legitimate response for standing someone up? I'm like, yes. Because it depends on how long her hair is. She has naturally curly hair, and her hair is down to her butt.
It takes
Fair.
a long time.
It does, but also maybe not standing somebody up, postponing.
She did.
Like,
she did.
Hey, so sorry.
Yeah.
Right, but just like not saying anything, that's not okay. But like if we have reached out and communicated effectively that it is a hair wash day, if it's an everything shower day, I will see you in 5 to 7 business days. Like it's like we go take a while.
I mean, I did an everything shower before Sylvia's wedding this weekend, and he's just like, your legs, they're soft. And I was like, I know. And he's like, your hair is soft. And I exfoliated, did a face mask, did an eye mask, did my brows. They are perfect. And he's just
5
like...
to 7 business days. Like, enjoy it while it lasts.
Serious.
Really is.
Meanwhile, it's colder than a witch's tit out here, but...
Is it?
Yeah, it's 47 degrees.
Nice.
We're in that weird March thing where
it's fall spring.
It's like starting to get, not even yet. We're getting the rain right now.
Oh,
so the rain just came through here. So last night
I just like shoved the dog out and was like, "This is your last chance to take a dry pee." Bye.
Right.
Poor Tank.
He doesn't like getting his little paws wet. He's
so cute.
He's a little bit of a princess.
Love that.
I mean, I've yet to meet a dog that wants to go outside to use the bathroom in the rain.
I mean, relatable, because I definitely do not want to do that, but it's also not my typical MO, so I don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is true. Because if it's raining in the bathroom, there's bigger issues.
We have bigger problems.
Yeah.
There are much bigger issues at that point.
Do we remember?
Right, here's the thing I don't get about dogs, is the fact that you've been peeing outside in the rain your whole life. Why is this now an issue?
Right.
Well,
it's like me waking up one day and being like, you know what, walking, overrated, not gonna do it. Like, it's not, I don't get to make that choice.
Right.
I mean,
I
Yeah.
don't know. Whatever.
No, I get it.
Not a dog. Don't have to worry.
I mean, my brother's dogs are the same way. There's one that absolutely hates water, and the other one loves water. And so we went to go visit. One of them jumped into the pool right before dinner,
Hmm.
and my brother just went, and I was like, "Do I need to do anything?" He goes, "No, you're fine." He's like, "You're sick. It's okay. Let me take care of this." Meanwhile,
Let me go wrangle that one.
I just look at I just look at my husband and I go, "You sure you want a dog?" And he goes, "Yep." And I was like, "You're cleaning it up then. Like if we get a dog, like I'm not."
This is all you.
Yeah.
It's all the work. We had a dog when I think I was in college or just finished college. One of the two, like from when I was in college to afterwards. And he loved the pool. My parents have a pool in their backyard, and he would actually climb up on a raft and he would float alongside my mother. He was a
Oh,
German
Okay,
Shepherd Black Lab
that's
mix. He was
that's
that's
cute.
huge.
adorable.
That's cute.
And he would just climb up. He would swim, right? You'd look out and he'd be like swimming in the pool, and you were like, "Hello, get out of there. Nobody swims alone. That's the family rule." And then there were other times where like my mom would be like floating along reading a book, and like the dog was just like on a raft, like next to her. They're just floating. What is happening over here?
Well, you told him that he couldn't swim alone, so and mom's
Right.
out there.
Yep.
He's
So if mom's
following
out there, he's
orders.
but the fact that like you would just see him out just floating, like this giant fluffy whatever, just in the pool was hilarious.
I love that.
That's adorable.
Speaking of JOB, you and Abby got your books.
We did. And
Did,
we unboxed
Yay.
together, which was fun. We had a phone call yesterday, so she and I got to unbox together and chat about it. Very excited and very excited to do the reading part of it. And I was like, all right, let me know, because we're in the middle of like, we just read one. We usually don't read the same books at the same time, and this will be the third one that we read at the same time this month. So
oh,
yeah, we read The Empress, and she's reading Fourth Wing right now. I just finished Fourth Wing, and then we're going to read a lovely special arc book. So,
I love that. That
Ooh.
makes me so
so do
happy.
we.
I
So do
don't
we.
think you understand. Jessica's been reading it. She's at 95%, I think she said.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
nice.
17 pages of errors.
Oh no.
So here I am publishing it, knowing that like everything's great. Everything is awesome. And it's not.
Good song.
Great song.
Oh,
Yeah, it's okay. So I'm almost done
This
with
is
book
why we
two.
have this is why we have beta readers.
Right. So
yes.
almost done with book two. And then Jessica's going to read through book two once it's done and tell me if there's any
Fabulous.
duplicates, if there's anything that doesn't sound right. And then Rachel's going to go through and edit it like the amazing person she is.
I love that.
I do too. It makes
I go through and do grammatical errors.
There you go.
because I forget to capitalize, add commas and periods and quotation marks. And she just goes,
I am the queen of run-on sentences. Like to the point that my ninth grade teacher was like, who's still friends with our family, by the way. She was like, she had said that that was me, and I still struggle with it to this day. I just have a lot of thoughts and don't breathe. Why do I need a comma?
Breathing's optional.
But
breathing
I'm a
is
huge
not
fan of the
optional.
Oxford comma.
So
Co-
it's what my band director used to say is breathing is optional.
My God.
You only breathe during rests, otherwise suffer and die.
Exactly.
I hated that in band. I was a flute. So
I played flute too before I played drums, but I played flute
Play
when I was in
clarinet.
fourth grade. There
I
you
am
go.
so sorry. Wind and wood
Right?
instruments.
People.
My goodness.
Woodwinds, yes.
We
Um,
are in, so fourth and fifth grade here do recorder.
oh
So Ryder is in
no.
year 2 of recorder.
No. You poor thing. Do you have enough
And
headphones or earplugs?
I read music, and so he usually asks me to help, right? And so like this last year it was a little basically just like put the notes in, follow along, whatever. Apparently this year is a lot of memorization, which he didn't know. So they got to their first like, you have to play this thing, and he was like, we had to memorize it, and I was like, I didn't know. Like I'm not in your music class. And so he texted me, like, because he has a Discord when he's at his dad's house, so he could talk to me. So he texted me on Discord at like 8 o'clock on Monday night. And he was like, Mom, I have a test for music tomorrow and I don't know all the notes. And I was like, okay, like, send me the music. I'll go over it with you. So I did that. And like, I sent him, I even found a video of like a teacher teaching the actual song and like YouTube that over to him. And I was like, what else do you need from me? And then I asked him yesterday, I was like, how was your test? And he was like, she wasn't here. We didn't even get to do it. And I was like, okay. To which he then said, that's fine. I have time to practice, and pulled his recorder out at my house and
No.
proceeded to practice for 40 minutes.
At least it
And
was only 40 minutes, though.
Right.
Mike's on the other side. He goes, I had to do something for work, but I heard you start playing. And he was like, it sounds a lot better than it did last week. So he goes, it sounds like you're, putting some of the stuff together. And, I was like, yeah, I did.
Improving.
And I was like, great. Also, and that was right after I was like, I have a headache, and took like a goodies. Like, not Ryder watched me throw a goodies in my mouth. And he was like, what's that for? And I was like, oh, I have a headache, so it'll help. And then he was like, cool, I'm going to play my recorder. And I was like, Spawn. I see it now. I get it. So that's
Horrible.
yeah, we are. And then he will finish just in time for Addie to start recorder next year.
Wonderful.
This is the second recorder I bought because I lost the first one. And I think it might have been on purpose. Like, I don't know. Like, I just can't remember where I put it. And so then he was like, I have to do
Accidental
recorder again. I
purpose.
was like, motherfucking shit. I was like, I gotta buy another one of those.
God
Oh,
damn.
man.
So, welcome to parenthood in the age of 10.
Oh,
It's fine.
man.
Everything is fine.
Everything.
And then they hit middle school and they get to choose if they want to do band or not. And
He's choosing percussion, which is fine because to practice percussion at home, it is a drum pad. It is not loud. It's not
they
like he's
make
playing trumpet in my house, in my townhouse. Please don't play trumpet in my townhouse. Like, just don't. His other option is violin because they have orchestra apparently at his school. So he's like, I think I'm going to do drums or violin. And I was like, my brain cannot with these two. But I like both options.
I mean,
Prefer the first.
my brother played the euphonium and the French horn. What else do you play? Trombone, slide trombone. And no, he didn't play trumpet. He played one other one. And I was just like, it's so loud. And so finally mom came through and she had gone to like a specialty shop and got the muffler for the front of all of them
yeah.
and then shoved it in there. And she's just like, shut up. Because she worked night shift. And I was like,
oh God, no.
So he would come home from school and just go to town playing his horn. And I just looked at him and I was like, mom's going to wake up and she's going to be pissed.
I can't imagine having
And
even like
indeed she was.
whispered the thought of like, I'm going to practice when my parents are sleeping. No,
Mm-mm.
cease to exist.
I was just
Brought
like,
you in, take you out.
We had to practice in our room with the door shut, and it was the opposite end of the house of our parents.
Same. And I just had a flute.
right.
I played clarinet and then bass clarinet, and like had me in the room,
Both those.
door shut, opposite
my
side of
sister
the house.
played piano for a little while because my mom was like, you need to learn music, it'll help you with math. So she played piano. And
I
then
mean, it
she went on to
does.
play bass drum in the marching band. So that was what, and she sang. She was a singer and still is a lovely singer to this day. I think Addie was like, she was like, Mom, sorry to say, 4th grade, I'm doing chorus. You're gonna have to get me to school early. And I was like, that's fine. I don't mind.
Right. So today we get to choose, I think last time, hold on, let me just double check. Last time you did Maryland.
I did. Maryland.
So,
Land of Marys.
question, Meg, would you like a cryptid or a murder?
You know what? We're gonna be bold today and we're gonna go with murder.
Okay.
We're gonna do death today.
Oh my God, I am so proud of you.
That's on growth.
Listen, we love to
That's
hear
a
it.
lot. That's a big step.
It's a big step. It's
Thank
a
you.
huge step,
Thank
Meg.
you.
That means it's not me. That's doing it today. Unfortunately, that's going to be all Rachel.
Yeah.
It's also fortunate on both things, so I appreciate it, Rachel, as long as you're good with it. I'm happy to respond as per my usual over-the-topness when it comes to bad, terrible things.
Of course.
Of course.
Wonderful.
Yes.
All right. So we're just gonna jump right in.
Good. I'm ready to be upset.
Oh God. Okay.
We're gonna talk about Traci Rhodes.
Hello, Tracy. I don't. That again. This is
She
News
was
to me.
murdered by her husband, Scott.
Oh,
Oh, it's always
no, 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 no.
Wasn't it the husband?
No.
No, she murdered her
Oh, it's-
husband. That's what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's even worse. See, it's always one of the two of them. Well, divorce is a thing. I
Divorce.
divorced a man for $1 per pound. It was fine. It didn't cost that much. Much better than murder. And orange, not my color.
Right. Stripes are not my thing either, especially because they go
No.
vertical.
Horizontal
Yeah,
stripes,
no.
my God.
We do not have enough money to make those monthly payments. I tell Emily that all the time. She's like, I'm so mad. I'm like, we do not have money for monthly payments. And she's like, come on. And I'm like, nope.
No.
We don't have the money to put on your books
No.
and for phone calls.
No.
Also, did I ever tell you about the child I taught when I was a first grade teacher who told me about what sin was?
What?
And
No.
it stays in the back of my brain. He came to me one day. I was like teaching freaking math or something. And he was like, I have something to tell you. And I was like, okay. And he was like, do you know what sins are? And I was like, okay, this is not math, but let's go. Thank God the other kids were working on something. And he was like, so every time you do a bad thing, it puts a black mark on your skull. And then when you die, if you have too many black marks, you go to the place that burns your soul forever.
What?
And he was like, also, I lost my blocks, and like ran back to his desk. And I was like, I'm gonna need a minute. And so that's also the reason I can't murder somebody, because apparently I don't want to have too many black marks.
Wow. That's
Fun story.
And that's had to have been taught to him at home because
yeah.
That's a
fuck?
6-year-old. A 6-year-old.
I
My
mean-
6-year-old's like, hey, can I wear my Sonic onesie? And I'm like, yes. Let's do that. Not
But to
skull
have that
marks.
much detail, that means that somebody has been teaching him that at home. And
Right.
right.
There's questions.
But also, that's
and
the thing that
concerns.
comes into my brain when I consider murder. I'm like, I don't look great in black on my skull. It's fine.
Right.
I would like a pristine skull when I die. Thank you.
I like having access to the things I like to do
Right.
when I want to do them.
I highly
don't
doubt they're
do-
going to let me listen to murder podcasts in jail.
I like being able to play my video games too. They will definitely not let you do that.
No, they will
No.
not. Yeah.
I have, as of today, I have 665 books in my house. I can't bring those. There's no room in myself for
Right?
that.
Because you have to share it with somebody else. Like, no, thank you.
Right?
No.
And what if they only read like horror? Hello. That's not enough books for all of us.
Jessica, we're eyeballing you. We're side-eyeing you. Jesus.
Yeah, she and I can't be in the same cell.
No. Mm-mm. You can't.
That would be too many books. We would have to sleep on them. How uncomfortable.
I don't know about you. I mean, some of the books that I have are pretty damn comfortable because they're paperback.
Yes, but they're all different heights. Can you imagine the wonkiness? Look, I've thought this way too hard.
Well,
Let's
just
get
make
back
sure
to
that
Murderous
it's your
Tracy.
head that's on the elevated side and not your feet.
Right.
Right?
All right. Anyways,
This is a Pandemonium Witches podcast trigger warning. The following episode contains graphic violence and gruesome depictions. Listener discretion is advised.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Tracy's been covered by several different people. Our lovely Bailey Sarian.
Yes.
And then Crimes in Closets, 48 Hours, Mystery, Dateline, Wicked Wives, just to drop a few.
Maybe I know this. I just don't know her name. Keep going.
I'm excited.
But there's been some new details that have come out lately.
Let's go.
Okay.
All right. So backstory. Tracy and Scott met when they were teens, so in high school. Went to high school together, dated in high school. They were known as the high school sweethearts. And they got married in 1990.
Aw.
Which was a few years after Tracy graduated high school. Scott put himself through college to be an engineer, and Tracy went to college to become a nurse, specializing in childbirth and delivery care, which is also known as OBGYN.
Okay.
After a few years, they had 3 sons, And based off of photos and what was seen by friends and family, they were the stereotypical happy family.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I know where this is going to go. Okay.
Traci kept saying that there was another side to Scott that only she saw, and that was very controlling, very jealous. It was slowly destroying their marriage, and he was constantly accusing her of having affairs that she wasn't having.
Oh, we don't like that. And that's
No.
on somebody who ain't honest in their own space.
I'm, I'm sorry. I'm the Wish version of Harry Potter.
Yes, you said high school sweethearts, and I like glanced a tiny look at my like senior year yearbook, and I was like, I know there's a photo in there of me and that boy. That everybody in college, nobody in college knew this man, this boy. And
Okay.
when they saw him, they were like, "Why did you date Harry Potter?" And I was like, "I don't think I did." And they were like, "No, no, that's what he looks like." And I was like,
Right.
"Oh, great." So now all of my college friends called my ex-boyfriend Harry Potter.
I love that.
So Scott moved the family 5 times over the course of 13 years.
Oh,
That's
that's horrible.
right. I mean, I had to move because I didn't have a choice. That I okay. Did he at least have a good reason?
He would get jealous and accuse Traci of infidelity to get her away from anyone she was allegedly having an affair with.
What?
And they eventually moved to Texas in 2003.
Because
Okay.
Texas has no men? Why did you go to Texas? If you're going to go anywhere, it's not fucking Texas.
Hey,
They have beards and boots and belts. No.
listen, my husband now has beards and boots and belts.
That's what I'm saying. If you're trying to get people away from your pretend infidelity, then it's not fucking Texas.
Right.
Agreed.
It's not Texas. It's not anywhere with a really great, like, fire department. It's not like, honestly.
We're not even going to discuss the fire department that's on base because
We'll
I
discuss it offline. I have questions.
no, I had to take a picture for a friend of mine, and she
You better have that still.
I
Send it to me.
think it's on
I'm technically
Snapchat.
single. It's
I
fine.
think I sent it on Snapchat, but like she was just like, God, I'm so lonely, and I sent her the photo, and I was like, do you want to go grocery shopping with me? And it was in Walmart. I was on the phone with Rachel. I was like, oh, the fire department's here, and I took a picture and I sent it to her, and she just sent me just an angry face back that said, "Fuck you, bitch."
Aw.
And I was
also, like, has a weird need to set fire to things that won't be detrimental, but definitely need help to put things out.
I mean,
There's a reason I'm not on every episode, and it's because Cat might die.
I'm saving that audio clip just like
yes, please do.
I saved the audio clip, which was story time with Rach and Kat. No reason, just
to throw it in randomly.
Yep. Oh my God, I'm gonna die. Okay.
All right, back to Traci.
Yes, Traci. Yes.
So Scott had removed her from friends and family, and to the point where she had no support system. She felt secluded, alone, and had nobody to help her, talk to her, or be with her. So Scott got her all to himself.
He a hoe.
I'm also not very mad at her for so far.
Right.
Like, murder's bad, but also, boy.
He had some red flags.
A red flags was a fucking parade.
Where's Dustin when you need him?
Parade of flags. He was the color guard captain of red flags.
He's Mardi Gras. Love that.
Traci claimed that Scott would constantly ridicule her, calling her a slut, tramp, or a whore, or a whore, if she showed up even just a few minutes late from work.
Our faces. I wish. Oh my God. Okay. So, no.
Right? Like, traffic exists, my dude.
It wasn't even because she was like showing a little too much shoulder. The ankle was exposed. Like,
Show us
it's 'cause
your
she's late
ankle.
from work. That's a little too much calf, my dear. Like,
Literally, like, Oh my God, she had to wait for her relief to come in, and
In a hospital.
And she's a
God
nurse too.
heals.
yeah, like you
Right?
can't
Like that
just
you never get
drop
off on
shit and
time.
go, oh, it's 5 o'clock, time for me to clock out. Like, no.
Sorry, someone else is gonna have to catch this baby that comes out of your cooch because I got a piece, otherwise my husband's gonna call me a whore.
Right.
No.
No.
Right.
No. Do you hear how that sounds, sir? No, you don't hear it because you're dead.
He would yell at her for even washing her hands, asking what she was trying to hide.
Salmonella? We're trying to
I
hide the
just got
common
off
cold.
I just got off a shift dealing with, blood and guts. Like, I need to scrub my body before interacting with the family.
Also, way to call yourself out for not washing your hands after you go to the bathroom, dude.
Right.
Right.
Again, I understand, and we do not necessarily make fun of the dead, but this man has some things that are a bit subpar.
Right.
She even claimed that he would try to get their boys to call her names as well.
Did she need help? I could hold him.
Listen, Meg. We do not that's called an accessory.
I'm a lovely accessory. I make a great necklace. I'll reverse it.
Chokehold.
I think Mike want your hands decorated for that, dear.
Ugh. Look, I'm just offering to support another woman. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
Okay, yeah.
Scott's friends were like, "Oh no, that never happened. He's not like that. He was a loving husband and a doting father." Like, I'm sorry, you only see one side of him.
Right.
Did he
You
light
don't-
up a room? Because no.
I mean, arsonists do.
What'd you say?
Arsonists do.
They do, but he's not an arsonist.
I was going to say if he was lit on fire, he would.
I'm very sure there was like a Silence of the Lambs thing where it had to do with a lampshade.
Oh my God. That's Ed Gein.
I'm
We
sorry.
covered it in an earlier episode. Come on, Meg.
Look, it's a Wednesday.
Valid.
Kitty Foreman. It's only Tuesday.
Shit, it's Monday. So obviously, his friends only saw what Scott wanted them to see and
Right.
everything. And so there's two different sides of the story. So they moved to Texas, and Traci got a job locally and made a friend.
Oh, God.
However,
What-
this
wait.
time,
No, wait. What was her job? Was she still a nurse?
mhm.
Oh, no. There's rooms. There's rooms with doors. And there's closets. There's supply closets. I know where this is going. Keep going. In my future, I see supply closets and wandering hands.
Rachel got it for me for a gift.
I love Muffin.
I do. That's my entire personality.
It is.
Muffin is great. I also like Pom Pom. I don't know if you've met Pom Pom.
I have met Pom Pom. I love Pom Pom.
Anyways, sorry. So we
No.
are about to find out what Traci actually did after her husband accused her for so many years. Like, I'm not one to make a liar out of you, buddy.
Right? So she didn't. She and Shawn Michaels worked together. He was a unit secretary in the same hospital.
Okay.
They would often flirt, but Traci said she always made it clear to Shawn that she was married, to which he would reply he was only joking. And then one afternoon,
Great choices.
they met up in the parking lot, and apparently they just stood there and hung out. Nothing romantic.
Why do I get a feeling that there's something sus coming up?
When she went to say goodbye, Shawn leaned forward and kissed her.
I knew it.
Sir, you was told.
Right.
You're a terrible kidder.
Mm-hmm.
So a week later, Scott confronted Traci and accused her of having an affair again, which apparently he did like every other night. And Traci stated that in the heat of the moment, she just blurted out that she was having an affair and was indeed falling in love with Sean.
What?
But she wasn't having an affair. She wasn't having an affair.
No.
That same night, Scott reacted by stating, "You have no idea what you've done."
Oh, that's not like anticlimactic or anything.
But at the same time, a definite threat.
Yes.
So on October 15th, 2003, the police were called to their home in Brownsboro, Texas. Inside the home in the couple's bed, the cops found Scott laying with a bullet hole through his head.
Oh my God.
Well, that was kind of over the top. You could have left.
Right.
Could have ran to a knife 10 times, so.
He had it coming. He had it coming. Sorry. Chicago, come on. Oh,
No,
Meg.
I know, but at the same time, like, ma'am, there are, God, so many other options. I'm just disappointed in her choice.
So later it was stated that Traci said in an interview that morning she had woke up really early, around 4 a.m. She came home, started to take a shower, and heard a moaning sound. Which that doesn't really make sense.
No.
She woke
Don't you
up
have to walk
really
to the
early.
bedroom typically to get to the...
Right.
She woke up early and she left, so she didn't see him, right? She woke up early. He was still in bed by the time she left, so she gets up. She goes to work. This is all I'm just guessing. She comes home and goes to get in the shower. 1, you probably have to turn a light on to get through that room. 2, you probably have to go through your room. 3, why are you in the shower and hearing moaning?
Right. It was at that point that she discovered Scott was in bed shot. She moved the pillow back and saw blood and that his eyes were swollen, touched his legs, and then told Scott, "Can you hear me?"
But that...
I feel like that definitely feels like an AED drill. You call 911.
That's not... First responder.
I mean, but also
you shake them.
Bullet hole
in
to the head, like, okay, check, see if they have a pulse. Check, see if the pupils are blown.
Right.
After that, like, there's nothing you can do to
also
a dome shot.
Right.
The fact
you just
also
it is what it is.
Sorry, my brain went directly to basketball, and I was like, I don't think that's what that is, but I see what's happening here, right? Bully. It sounds like she's like half trying to set up an alibi and half like, I don't know what happened. Ma'am, if you were in the shower and heard moaning, you would have also heard the shot. Because I can't hear my damn kids when they walk into the bathroom to try and talk to me while I'm in the shower.
Well, not necessarily. Okay. Random facts. Giant brain. You know this. I did 4 years of criminal history, like criminal psychology. Ooh. I studied forensics, all that fun stuff, right? Did you know that if you are in the bathroom and you have the shower running, and let's say you have the fan running, if it is a small caliber, not a large caliber, if it's a small caliber, you will not be able to hear it over the shower, over the fan, and over the water over your head.
I totally agree with you. I'm totally here. Like, I agree with you.
So she might not have actually been in the shower yet.
Oh, okay.
So if he's moaning, we would have heard the shot. 1.
Right.
2, if you're hearing the moaning, but you didn't hear the shot, but you're still in the shower, that makes no sense to me.
Okay, yeah, I can understand. Okay, yeah, I get that.
I'm like, I get it. If you didn't hear the shot because you're in the shower, cool. But also, like, how are you hearing the moaning?
Right.
Well, no. Also, does this tell us why she's not wet? Because she wasn't actually in the shower?
So when the cops showed up, Traci began walking around. They asked her why she didn't give him medical attention because, she was a nurse. Her reasoning was she was in shock.
Wait. Let's go back. So she didn't even administer care, like to see if he was,
Oh, she cared about touching his leg.
well,
Asked if he could hear her, and that was it.
I mean, normally for first response, you kind of like shake a little, not like completely, but like you go, hey, can you hear me? I'm going to administer aid, kind of thing. Do you not want me to administer aid? Do you want me to go ahead and try? And if they don't do any response, you are legally obligated. You are allowed to do it because they aren't able to respond to you.
Right.
But if she just touched his leg and went, hey, honey, can you hear me? Obviously, that's...
Poke, poke, are you dead yet? Like, that's a little
I'm
bit
gonna poke
different
it
of
with
an
a stick.
option.
I'm not dead yet.
I'm not, really, I'm not. 'Tis only a flesh wound. Well, that's quite a lot of flesh wound. Apparently, learned it today, it's a dome shot.
You're welcome. But supposedly, despite being in shock, she was still able to call into work, said she wasn't going to be coming in that day, and that they needed to find someone else to cover her shift. And then she went to wash her hands after touching her husband.
Criminals are so dumb. Like,
Her reasoning
I mean, I
behind
understand.
washing her hands is that she could feel his blood on her hands because she did touch her husband's face.
Also, I don't understand. I just don't understand. Like, why do you think you're going to work ever again?
Right.
Why would you need to call? You're calling out permanently.
I mean, at least she had the decency to like call and be like, "Hey guys, we're not showing up today. You need to cover something. You can find somebody else to cover my shift."
So I
Like,
just blasted the fuck out of my husband. Gotta go. Not in a good way. And probably not coming back.
so, okay. Totally, completely off topic. My dad shattered his legs, I want to say, 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. And I was the only one who was at home because my mom was at church getting ready for a wedding. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My dad cannot climb any ladders or anything like that. He climbed up the fence, trimmed the lemon tree because I hid the ladder and I had locked it with a bike lock so he couldn't actually open it. Rachel knows this. I lock that shit down because he likes to get on ladders and operate heavy machinery when no one's fucking home. Anyways, when
Seems like a fun dude. I'm in.
Listen, my dad's a fucking hoot. The conversations Rachel has heard me had with my dad, because I had her on the computer and my dad called my phone and I answered it. Listen, now she knows where I get my sense of humor from. But
it's true.
It's true. So when I tell you, like, I called into work and I was just like crying, not able to control it, and my dad just broke his legs. Not like, it was severe. He broke his legs went up into his pelvis. So his pelvis, legs, knees, ankles, and foot. So he has 27 pins in the left foot and 52 in the right. So he carries this
shattered shit.
He shattered shit. He carries this little card. So when he goes through
air, Barbie that did that once. That got taller and shorter, but it was made that way. Humans are not.
Humans are not made that way.
He has a card for when he goes through airport security that states, I have pins in my legs, the meter will go off. Because my dad walks bow-legged now, and it's just like one of those things where we're just like, okay, it's a thing. But the fact that I called into work because I knew for a fact if I didn't, they would fire me. And I worked at a hospital.
Yeah. Oh, I get that.
I get it. I get it. But the fact that she was calm when calling into work and just like, hey guys, I won't be able to come in today.
You're gonna have to find somebody to cover me. I'm so sorry about this last minute change.
Like, it's an inconvenience. Like, I'm sorry. The fuck? Like, I understand if he was like abusive or anything like that. Like, when we talked about the TikTok murders, how he was abusing his wife. I understand that. I completely understand. She's like, I gotta get out. I gotta get somewhere safe. I get it. But this is not, it's not shaping up to be this. I don't think. I think.
Oh, he was an ass, but.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
100%.
He was an ass, but at the same time, if you just even witnessed, found, whatever, something of that nature.
Hmm.
I understand, like, I'm a person who will handle the situation in front of me. So, like, people in shock, I get they do different things, right?
Hmm.
I don't know that I'd have the wherewithal to be calm through that part of the conversation.
I don't, yeah,
Right.
yeah, no.
So the cops kept pressuring her for information, and she told me, she told them everything she knew and had nothing else of value to add. And she kept asking to go be with her husband at the hospital because she knew he was dying. Obviously, headshot. Like,
Right.
um,
He
so
wasn't dead yet?
apparently not.
Oh, okay. Hey, good on him. Keep fighting, man.
Well, I
You
think
weren't very nice, but like no one deserves this.
Well, I think that's why I was so confused because she didn't administer aid. She called the cops or called in the ambulance and said, "My husband's been shot in the head." And that's why I was
I
angry.
thought I thought he'd just been off the dome throne and was like, "Oh, we're done for." Like it did the job that
Dome
it was
throne.
intended.
Love that. Gonna keep that now.
And the cops kept telling her that they would let her go in a few minutes. So they kept kind of like not letting her go. And so by mid afternoon, Scott was declared brain dead, and before long, he was dead.
Ugh.
Mm,
Like we knew it was going to happen, but come on.
Right.
right.
So the case then went from an attempted suicide to a possible homicide. Within hours of the 911 call, one of the detectives changed his mind. It had seemed like an attempted suicide at first, but after looking deeper into the case, he decided it needed to be shifted to a possible homicide, as there were all the ingredients for a classic murder plot.
Yes.
So again, the cops, questioned Traci as a first responder. Why did you not issue aid to your dying husband? And she lashed out, asking what should she have done? He was still breathing when she found him, so it's not like she could give him CPR. They
I
told
don't
her
know. Stop the bleeding? Man,
she
what part
told
of this murder stew have you not concocted?
and that's basically what they said. Like, she could have at least put compression, uh, you know, put pressure on his wound while waiting for the ambulance to arrive. She then stuck to what she said before, that she was in shock. Um, and so the cops found it quite suspicious that she was too shocked to aid her dying husband, but was of sound body and mind to call in to work. Like, shit's not adding up.
I mean, clearly our first mistake was the fact that she thought he needed a leg massage and not pressure on the head.
Right. So the
I
cops then again questioned Traci about why she did what they saw her do, was washing her hands.
right.
They wanted to know why she was washing her hands. Was she trying to remove blood, gunshot residue? Was she hiding something? Like, why are you washing your hands? Like that, like if you're in shock, that is not something like
Right.
you think about. She said that as a nurse, she was sensitive to the smell of blood, and that since she had in fact touched her husband, her hands had the smell of blood all over them, so she rinsed them off with hot water. Or were you trying to
Wouldn't,
get rid of the gun residue?
right? And also, being a nurse, wouldn't you be less sensitive to the smell of blood? Like, you know that that's the smell, but it's something that's more common than like somebody like me who's not around it all the time.
I'm more sensitive to smells now after working at the hospital for as long as I did.
The smell of blood, particularly?
Blood and vomit, yeah. Like Rachel has seen me because one of the kids, she was on the phone with me when Raven vomited, and I just went, I was not a sympathetic vomiter before, and now just even the smell makes me want to gag.
Interesting. I mean, it's a viable thing if she's like, I'm super sensitive to it, but also,
You're also supposedly in shock.
Right.
So
Like your body wouldn't be able to.
be like, oh my God, you have blood on your hands. Let's go take care of that.
Right. I'm not vibing with her. Like before I was like, yeah,
I
get out, but now,
like I said, get out is very different than lights out.
Yes.
Those are
Also a
different
very good
options.
book. Different genre, but very good book.
Very good book. Um, yeah, I don't know. It seems suspicious that we're washing our hands
Right.
vigorously
Hmm.
with hot water.
Right.
Very Macbeth of her,
Very Macbeth of her. Yes.
right?
Very much so. My God.
So the detectives started doing digging, like, they do.
Hmm.
And they learned that Scott had hired a divorce attorney named Nat Perez. And just the day before the shooting, Scott had taken Traci to Perez's office to have a meeting. Um, and that's when the detectives decided to interview the lawyer. Because, okay, you guys had a meeting with a divorce lawyer.
Right.
What's going on? The divorce lawyer told Traci that Scott would receive custody of all three children, but Traci would have liberal visitation rights. And apparently, this really upset Traci.
I get it. That does
She's
suck.
she apparently had told the lawyer that she was a great mother and she would not be okay with a plan where she didn't get her boys. Uh, the lawyer then told her that if she decided to fight the terms, they would use Sean against her. You know, the guy that she kissed, not having a full fledged affair with.
Fine, use him against me, but I still get my kids 50% of the time.
Traci said she didn't care. She said that she deserved her kids, that she was a good mother, and she did what she had to do for them, and told Scott they needed to go home and further discuss details before she stormed out of the office. When they got back home, they both agreed that they didn't want to put the kids through some ugly custody battle. And then later that night, Scott's mood changed and he flew into a rage, supposedly, because, all we're getting is one sided. Scott apparently went and grabbed a baseball bat and kept asking Traci, where does Sean live? Because he was intent on bashing his head in with said baseball bat. So he kept screaming at Traci, where does he live? Where does he live? And Traci kept um, denying and telling Scott she didn't know where he lived because she never gone to his house before.
Right, and she very may well not know. Like,
Right.
Right.
maybe.
Apparently that's when Scott got physical. He grabbed her by the throat, put his fists up to her, and told her that he was going to knock the shit out of her.
Whoa.
No, sir, that's
Mm-mm.
abusive. We don't do that.
No.
And so after this confrontation, Traci went into the bedroom and started packing and was going to go stay at a hotel.
Okay.
And of course, like classic narcissist, Scott flipped shit flipped script and started crying and pleading with her to stay. He kept apologizing, saying that he didn't mean it. Normal shit.
Right.
He convinced her
We
to
didn't
finally
mean that
stay.
we were going to harm our partner because we were, yeah, no, that doesn't seem, we don't just get to say the no's after we say the go's.
Right.
Right. He
Ugh,
convinced her finally to stay and told her that he wanted to be with her and profusely apologized. So, of course, she stayed, probably just to shut him up.
which I hate. I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but unfortunately, like, I can understand because in most domestic violence situations, it's when they actually go to leave is when they're in the most danger.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I just don't like the feeling of coercion. It's my least favorite.
I know. So after the confrontation, her trying to pack, she stayed and everything was fine. Scott calmed down, everything was fine. And then the next morning, Scott was found with dome shot.
Everything was not fine.
Right.
Right.
So on August 11th, 2005, on what would have been their 15th wedding anniversary, Traci was arrested for the murder of her husband.
Saw that coming.
Wow. How kismet, though? It was their anniversary?
Right?
Oh my God.
The gun and where it was found eventually became one of the biggest disputes in the entire case. Traci said the gun was in his hand and somewhere on the bed. However, her story never changed, and she was very consistent.
Hmm. Okay.
We'll
One
take
of the
consistency.
prosecutors said that a pillow was used in an attempt to muffle the sound, and that Traci used the pillow to prevent any backsplatter from coming back to her or on her or the weapon. Okay.
Okay.
Side note, where are the children? I assume they're here the entire time,
Well,
I
which we
would.
hate.
I mean, it might have been like when they went to school, you know?
Maybe, but
We don't
it's all
know.
they're there at some point during the day when this is happening.
Right.
Right.
I mean, if they were fighting over it, like they're there during the fight, they're there during the argument, they're there during dad crying.
Right. Uh,
Hate it.
and so they also said that she used the pillow to disassociate herself from her husband, that there was no blood on Scott's hands when there should have been due to the impact of the shot and where he shot himself. Blood, brain matter,
Yes.
skin,
Yeah.
all of it. Uh, they believe Traci put the gun to his head with the pillow covering it. And once she pulled the trigger, she dropped the gun. It landed on the floor, and then she waited for Scott to die. And that's when she realized, oh shit, I've made a huge mistake, picked the gun back up off the floor and placed it in Scott's hand.
I believe the correct response to this is, oh fuck, 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 oh fuck.
Something like that, yeah.
Probably, but also, not an expert here, but you as a living person do not know, typically, how a gun will fall if someone has used it upon themselves. So the likelihood of it still being in his hand after through a pillow, like a gravity is a fucking thing.
Right. And depending on where he's at on the bed, depends on if it would fall on the bed, if he was left-handed or
On the
right-handed,
floor,
if
yeah.
he fell on the floor, like lots of variables.
So many questions I have. So many. And none of which we can answer here.
So they, obviously, they called in forensic blood expert who looked
Right.
over the police photos taken at the scene and said he knew right away that this was not a suicide. One of the first officers on the scene said that he removed the gun, and when he did, the handle had been resting on Scott's left hand and the barrel on his right. He said that there was no blood on Scott's hands and that the gun didn't come into contact with any of the blood on the bed. However, there was a puddle on the handle and a thick glob of it in the mechanism of the gun.
But nothing on his hands, and somehow the gun was in both of his hands.
Right.
So you're telling me he essentially went from adios muchachos to here I lay dying. Like,
Basically, yes.
right? Like, that's not. He
Things are
looked like
not
he was
adding up.
prepared for funeral rites at that point if his hands are down, like, in front of him. Because they have to be in front of him together-ish. What are we presenting said weapon? This is what I used, allegedly. No.
The blood
No.
expert later was able to point out exactly what he felt had happened. Using the blood-stained carpet swatch that had been taken as evidence, he showed where he believed the gun and holster fit into the blood pattern on the floor. He claimed that Traci had put the gun to Scott's head with a pillow covering it, she shot it, and then dropped it on the floor. And that she realized after the blood was on the floor that she had made a mistake. This was supposed to be a suicide, and if it was a suicide, the gun should be in Scott's hands, not on the floor, so she picked it back up and put it into Scott's hands.
I do love a good puzzle, though.
Right? 4 years after his death, Traci's trial began. It took them 4 years.
And how long after his death was she arrested? It was at least like a year, right?
So October 15th, 2003, and then was when it happened. And
Right.
then August 11th, 2005.
Right.
So
So she was
almost 2
arrested 2 years
years.
later, and then she spent 2 years in jail. Right?
Right.
Awaiting said trial. Whew. See, I told you wasn't going back to work forever.
So some friends and family said that they weren't surprised with the news that Scott had killed himself. They said he was constantly paranoid and was deeply troubled, and that he believed people were plotting to get him fired from his job. Some said that they believed he was manic depressive or bipolar, while others talked about how he was too much of a loving father to take his own life. Traci's
Interesting
relationship,
theories. We all
right?
forgot about the part where, like, if we do have true narcissistic behavior, that person is typically, from what I understand, not going to take their own lives because they wouldn't continue to get the input that they get from those around them.
Exactly. So Traci's relationship with Sean was the center of the prosecution's case. They saw it as a motive for Traci. They even called Sean to the stand. There was no audio recording during the trial as it was not allowed, but he did acknowledge that there was a mutual attraction, but they did not have a sexual relationship, which he stated over and over again to that degree. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Stop it. He did not say that.
No, we just had added in.
Oh, that was perfect. Very well done.
Well done. Go for
Right,
it.
but at the same time, there was like a flirtation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Great, not awesome, right? If you're a married individual or somebody in a relationship or whatever it is, not awesome. But at the same time, not murder worthy. There's not a whole
Right.
lot that's murder worthy, honestly.
Right.
So apparently 10 days after Scott died, Sean and Traci checked into the Red Roof Inn, and Traci stated they did not meet at the hotel to have sex. She instead insisted that they had meant to talk, but things ended up going further that night than either one of them expected.
Well,
And so they
that's not
ended
great
up
for your case.
getting into a sexual relationship that lasted 2 years.
After he was gone.
Right.
That doesn't look good.
Because at that point, she's not having an affair anymore. She's a widow. So, I mean,
I understand, but there's a
minor
little bit of
details.
decorum. Right, but there's a little bit of decorum to, like, process through all these things. And, not happy. Don't like it. Many thoughts.
So after 2 days of deliberation, the jury found Traci guilty of murdering Scott. And in Texas, the defense has the option of letting the jurors decide the punishment as well as deciding the verdict.
Really?
Apparently, yes.
Oh.
Wow.
So they went into the courtroom for the second phase of the testimony. Traci finally took the stand and told the jurors that she didn't kill her husband and that she didn't agree with the verdict. Well, you can not agree with it all you want to, but this is what it is.
Right.
That's like going into the store and being like, I don't agree with your pricing. Give it to me for less.
Right.
I don't think that's a thing, but okay.
The two older boys took the stand and told the jury that they loved their father and their mother very much and that she didn't do it and that she needed to be with them, her kids. So the jury went back to deliberate her sentencing. 2 days later, the jury decided she needed to get 10 years probation.
Wait.
I'm sorry. What?
Not
probation for murder.
You don't ding somebody and you get 10 years probation?
So
look, I'm having a field day with this new information.
She would have an 8 p.m. curfew, and she cannot leave the county she resides in. She got no prison time aside from when she was waiting arraignment and processing, which was only 3 days.
So she wasn't in jail awaiting her trial. She was just out and about.
She was also fined $10,000. Her nursing license was revoked, so she lost her job as well.
Okay.
To this day, her story has never changed. That she never laid a finger on the gun. She never had an affair. Because she didn't.
Right.
Until after. The gun had always been somewhere on the bed, never on the floor, and that she saw the gun laying in a pool of blood on the sheet when she had first lifted up the pillow, and that's why there was blood on it.
Mm-hmm.
So he might have put he might have put the pillow over his own head and then fired the gun. Forensics criminalist Richard Ernest backs up her story. He's studied the evidence and believed that the gun was lying in a pool of blood on the bed. Scott's hands were washed in the hospital. There were no photos of him taken at the crime scene, and that there were not only bloodstains on the bed, but feathers as well, because down pillows.
Right.
He believed that the feathers and the blood on the gun came directly from the bed, and according to Richard, blood and feathers were also found on the gun. If Traci had moved the gun, why weren't her fingerprints on it? I mean, that's valid.
It's valid, right?
Yes.
There was a palm print on the handle of the weapon, but it was never identified as belonging to Scott, Traci, or the detective that had removed it from the scene. I'm sorry, why was the detective not wearing gloves?
Right.
Did he arrive before EMS did? Because if he did and he was concerned more with saving the human,
he still would have.
I would assume he would have gloves on, but I have no idea.
Right. Like, gloves, my dude.
I mean, I know people that would have just like kicked it off with their foot, like pushed it off to the side or something like that. Or like nudged it off with an elbow or something, not actually touch it with their hand.
And then that should have been in the notes.
Right.
And because usually if like they touch the weapon, then their fingerprints have to be taken to make sure like, okay, there's a possibility my prints are on this thing.
Right.
Here are my set of prints, so that way you can chalk it out.
Yeah.
This has been a complete whirlwind. I'm just going to say.
It's more.
I don't think I like anybody in this story, except the kids.
I like the kids. The kids are great.
Are the only innocent ones in this whole thing.
Right. I like the kids. I'm not really mad at Sean, but like, also, guy, you got yourself wrapped up into something you should not have. This is not a bar story for you.
Right.
So, March 22nd, 2009. So, 4 years later. The court dismissed Traci's appeal. In the end, she ended up spending 6 months in jail. The fact that she had been found guilty but only sentenced to probation did not sit well with the Cameron County District Attorney's Office, nor most of the general public.
I mean, I get that.
Right? Like, whether... Like, you were on trial for murder. Like, it's something other than just 10 years probation.
Right.
Traci decided to stop her appeal in early March and appeared in court for formal sentencing. That sentencing led her to receiving 180 days in jail and 10 years probation. Which is still a small price to pay.
And if you kept yourself out of trouble for most of your life, that should not be too difficult.
Right.
Upon research, there were many, many comments for people saying they knew both Traci and Scott, and most of those claims were the same. Scott was a good man. Traci was actually the one with the strange behavior. Many stated they knew Traci would have a lot of the fits she claimed Scott would have, and that she was actually the insanely jealous one. Well, we only have one side of the story now, so I mean... one person stated she was known to bulge her eyes out and purse her lips up in anger during normal conversations, and that she kept Scott on a very short leash. Many of the claims said they never once heard Scott utter one bad word against his wife, but elaborated on how often they did hear him say how much he loved his wife and family. Again, though, you don't know what's going to happen behind closed doors. One woman said she was disgusted by the fact that Traci's mom was always creating fundraisers for money towards Traci's case and fine. She was surprised that Traci became a nurse because she didn't have one compassionate bone in her body.
Oh, that's not great.
All of these people claimed that the way Traci portrayed her husband as a monster left them feeling sick to their stomach and that it was one-sided. They talked about how fake her tears were during all the interviews and how they couldn't believe she got off with only probation. They expressed fear for the next man she may meet.
Oh gosh. A mini Black Widow in the making. We don't like that.
Right.
It's like Adam's Family all over again with Debbie.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like her. I mean, I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah. I liked what was her name? The bald nanny at the end.
Yes, I don't know her name, but yes.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know who to believe anymore.
I don't either.
Because at the beginning, it's like, you did this very well as a story. Because I was like, oh, he's an asshole. And I was like, oh, she's fucking nuts. And I'm like, oh, everyone is wrong and I hate them.
You don't know which way it's going to go.
No, I don't.
So everything
I have opinions
that
on everything.
Everything that we were able to find, it still has her living in Brownsboro, Texas, because she couldn't leave.
Right.
No, she's got some years. Or no, she's done now. Her 10 years are up.
She's dead now?
No, done. No,
I was like, oh, she's dead now. Okay.
No, she's not dead now. She's just, her 10-year probation is over.
Yes.
Because it's later.
2020s.
Right?
When talking about the 48 Hours show that interviewed Traci, they had this to say. So this is from Eyes for Lies. The show was titled Point Blank. She sobbed her eyes out, yet oddly, a tear never fell from her face.
No.
Her voice whined in a high-pitched tone instead of sinking down with sorrow and pain. And every now and then she would smirk or smile while talking about the events surrounding her husband's death. They saw nothing in her behaviors or demeanor that supported honesty. And added to that, Traci told them that her husband was uber jealous, moving her across the country 5 times to keep her away from friends and family in 13 years. They think everyone would agree by that statement that her husband was exceptionally jealous. But when you think about it, does a move like that make sense? Does a move like that help guarantee one will have no affairs? Would it give you peace if you were jealous? They don't see much sense in that when they give it thought. Do you? Each new move would bring new opportunities for new love interests. Is that what Scott really thought? Well, we will never know. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What makes even less sense is that if Traci's husband Scott was the exceptionally jealous type, why would she confess to him that there was somebody else? It doesn't sit right.
None of that is great. And also, we already identified that Texas is not the place to move somebody if you're worried about them having an affair.
Right. So apparently there is a website called she'sahomewrecker.com. And Traci got put on there. And the caption of it is, "This bitch needs to get put in her place. She kills her husband, sleeps with her lover before her husband's body is cold, and she's given probation for a murder sentence. My husband and I have been married now for several years. We've had our ups and downs, but she has been the worst part of my marriage. We adopted a dog from the pound and took it next door to get it fixed. Obviously, I'm assuming they got it from the pound. The next door was the vet office.
Right.
To get it fixed, and everything started from there. She texts him saying she misses him and sends a picture from the beach saying she wishes he was there with her.
Oh,
I confronted
no.
him. And he says that she was a mistake and that she went after him. I don't know what to do, but one thing's for sure, she's not getting out of this without a scratch. If I'm suffering, she will too. I will let the whole world know what a whore she is. Like,
Them strong words.
right?
Yeah. That's a lot.
Oh, yes. But that's Traci Rhodes.
Jeez, it also doesn't look like she's a homewrecker is active right now. Because I definitely I checked.
I mean, that's valid.
Let's see. Let's see. I keep getting like a not able to be reached. Or maybe it's just too much for my sensitive eyes. I don't know. Yeah, we're just spinning here.
I mean,
Dang it.
shit. Like, I personally, I think she did it. Like, the beginning, I didn't think that she did. I think she was just trying to get out of a bad situation. Now, knowing all the facts, I think she did it.
I still think she did it.
I mean, like, she could have, like, drugged him and then had him do it, but, like, had her hand over his. So,
It's possible, but they didn't find like drugs or anything in his system, so I don't know how.
but I mean, like, if she, like, gave him, like, natural sleep aid or something, that wouldn't have popped up.
Possibly, or if he was already like asleep and
On,
was like a really heavy sleeper.
right? Or if he was already taking sleep medicine and it made him a heavy sleeper. Like, there's so many
Different variables. I
Right.
mean, like, with my medication, my sleep medication, it comes out of my system. Oh, it's fluffy. It comes out of my system by like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So when I have my blood draw the next day, because I took it before midnight, it's out of my system. So I mean, there are other things. You just sent it to me. I love you.
I did. I had to do our daily snap.
I know, it's fluffy. Look at the kitty.
I posted it in the group chat.
She's so cute.
Fabulous. I get to see too. Aw, look at that pile of fluff.
Emily's like, I want to join. That's nice. You're working, silly. So,
Right.
yeah. No, I mean, like, as somebody, like, Meg and I have discussed this on several occasions, as somebody who had escaped domestic violence a few times. Like, I had a really bad picker wheel for a while. Let me just say that.
Same.
Let me just say.
Yeah, it takes a while for those healthy strategies to kick back in.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I had to move quite frequently. Rachel remembers, I think it was every 4 to 6 months I would pick up and move again.
Yep.
And I couldn't we have a yearly Christmas card exchange with our group of friends. I couldn't do it. I could never do it because I was always having to move to change my address. And it became, I mean, one of my ex-best friends called me toxic for how many times I had to move. And I was just like, I don't think you understand the gravity of the situation.
I think at one point, like, you were able to get them sent to a safe place so that way we could send all the cards there.
Yes. So I was able to get a P.O. box. And once I got the P.O. box, everything was fine.
That's fair.
But yeah, that's all I got. So
I hated it. Thanks.
I
And I
hated
think you
it
did a
too.
beautiful job on a terrible story.
Yay! Whee! I hate it today, but I love the research.
Yeah, it was so well done. And I love that you
Yes,
pulled in from several different places. So, way to go.
fabulous.
I do my best
It's fantastic. I loved it.
because we try not to pull from just one
One
place.
source, yeah.
Also,
Yeah, understandable. Especially if there's more. Apparently, a lot of people covered this. So, I will just beware of people named Tracy
unrelated.
with an I.
The shirt that I decided to put on this morning was totally
Right?
unrelated to the story. It says could be a train station kind of day, which if
Ooh.
anybody's watched Yellowstone,
Yellowstone. I was like, that's a Yellowstone reference.
yes,
I
it is.
Okay, I bought Peacock a year ago so I could watch Yellowstone. Did you know you cannot watch Yellowstone on Peacock if you do not have live cable?
Oh, that's
Oh, even
stupid.
now that it's over?
Yeah. So in order to
Interesting.
watch it, I need to get it on Prime, which is what I am buying myself with my birthday money this year. I get
There you go.
every year my mom sends me $50 for my birthday for Amazon. So I already know.
Sweet. Yeah, I did the thing that I always do with TV shows, and I jumped into the entire series in the last 4 episodes. So I know what happens. And also I watch everything like in clips on TikTok as it comes up. So I watch a lot of
Same.
shows. So I was like, oh, I
Same.
know what happens. Like I never watched Game of Thrones. I only watched the clips and I know Daenerys' entire storyline. And I was like, I know there's other things that happen, but I don't exactly care. I got Daenerys, I got the Jason Momoa character, and I'm cool with that. Like I'm done.
Right? Like I watched like the first like 2 seasons and I was like, all right, I'm good.
I watched one clip on Reels and it was, oh God, what's her face? Beth. She had like bruises all over her face and
That happens a lot.
well, I mean, she was in a store and I think it was her daughter or a niece or a cousin or somebody was like, you're gonna shoplift. I already know you're stealing from me. Da, 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 da.
I think that was
Oh, I
her
saw that one, too.
sister-in-law.
Yeah.
That is her sister-in-law.
So
Yeah.
she ended up like closing the store and like trashing the store. And I was like, I have to watch this.
It's a good scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to. And Josh is like, well, let's look at Amazon. And I was like, man, I can't watch it. Okay, let me go ahead and check on Peacock.
Right.
Live TV only.
And Beth's character is like that the entire series, from what I understand.
Oh, yeah.
So
Beth is,
she's always
like-
unhinged.
She really needs therapy.
And then there
Oh,
was
I don't know that it's only therapy. I think there may be some other things she also needs.
Well, yes, but like therapy from like dealing with her childhood trauma and then like because of her childhood trauma started morphing her into the woman she became and then it just went from there. It was literally wildfire.
I, for one, loved being here with you all today.
I loved it too. Didn't enjoy the
Such
topic.
a fun
but
time.
Yes. As always, stay feral.
Bite the hand, guys.
And we'll see you all next time. Okay,
Bye.
Next time on the Pandemonium Witches. A good story for today that is not murder, it is not missing persons, it is not a cold case. It is our favorite haunted topic of cryptids.
Cryptids!
Whee! We like to call her is one of the greatest unanswered questions. For those of you who are not part of the tit soap community, this is kind of a killer brother. The scientific community explains alleged sightings as hoaxes, wishful thinking, and misidentification of mundane objects. In August of 1933, the Courier published the account of George Spicer's alleged sighting. The public interest skyrocketed, with countless letters being sent in detailed different sightings describing a monster fish, sea serpent, or a dragon.